that attracted me to music was
You like house music?
Stevie Wonder,
Understand it's our culture.
Songs in a Key of Life, and Musicarium. That's like, as a child, my first memory of songs that I really started to focus.
My first musical memory is just being a kid, and growing up in the house, and
If you like what you hear,
it really started with my family, like my mother, my uncles, grandmother, aunties.
it's our culture.
Every weekend they would just buy a lot of records and 45s, and that's what really made me get into it.
My family, my uncle's a DJ, my cousin's a DJ, my stepfather, who raised me with my mom, he's a musician. So my whole family is musically inclined, so it came natural. Capital and business, but Chicago being the mecca of house music, not dance music per se, but house music. I think the music is universal and it's not really different, but I would like to say we are the first to do the house thing, but not dance music. A lot of people mix the house and the dance up, but I think they're pretty much similar. It's just one facet of the next, and we all feed off of each other.
Well, no, it was always a Chicago thing. Like for me, it was like Larry Heard. I mean, like, he was the king. I mean, like him, Lil Louis, you know, Marshall Jefferson. You know, I can go on and go on with producers in Chicago, but like, to me, those three stood out the most because they brought a different flavor to the style. Like Larry brought that jazz feel, Lil Louis brought that, you know, kind of house, but still tracky, but just up-tempo. Marshall brought the musical part, and it was just like, house music just changed after certain years. It was like this, and then it went here. It just went to another place with it. And I think that's what separates us from everybody else, you know, because people will be like, man, them Chicago cats, we don't know what they gonna do next, but, you know, people can say like, well, it came from here, but really in their mind, they know where it comes from.
Piracy, file sharing, and people not learning about the music anymore, not learning the meaning of how to listen to the music. Right now, everyone is a DJ, and technology is good, but there are so many DJs that haven't experienced and taste like the analog part of the culture, and now it's out of control. Nobody purchases music, and that's what changed. Like, I purchase music to this day. If I'm not in a record store digging for vinyl, I sit on the internet in my underwear for 10 hours searching for music.
The newer kids don't really understand. You know, they don't study the history of it. So if you grew up around a little town, that's all you're gonna know. But this thing became big, like EDM and all that other, you know, kind of music and stuff, but it just lost its essence. And, you know, now it's really begging for it. It's not the same no more. So now, since it's not the same no more, no one's really feeling like music like they used to do it. It's just like now you just doing music because you trying to keep that cycle going. Ooh, first time I met Glenn, probably like at a Lil Louis party, Bismarck Pavilion, probably like 1985 or something like that, because we would always be at the parties, you know, like, I guess it wasn't we didn't like meet at the parties, but like when I went to parties, we would be at some of the same parties, and everybody would just be dancing, going crazy, and that's how we became cool.
I remember one time it was a basement party in a rough neighborhood called the Sherman Park, Inglewood area, and Boo was DJing, and I was picking his brain about music, and that helped me decide if I wanted to be his friend. And so I asked him about all of these songs. Do you have this? Do you have that? And he would pull the record up. I said, do you have this? He'll pull the record up, and I was like, cool, we can be friends. We started our work career doing the Strictly Jazz unit. The Strictly Jazz unit started in the late 80s, but Boo came in maybe 1990, 91, and that's when it actually started to grow with Boo and Tim Harper.
We didn't get together right away. It took like a couple of years for us to get together, and then just one day I just like got up and was like, I'm gonna go over Glenn House, because when I used to see him down at the warehouse on Randolph Street, I would give him a ride home after the party, and he was like, let's just get together. So one day I took him up on this offer, and yeah, we've been friends ever since. I put it more than friends, we like brothers.
Right now, I've been working on a jazz funk, jazz fusion album. So it's more like the Chick Corea, Jeff Lober, George Duke, but with the four on the floor feel. So that's what I've been, and it's just in the works now. So we'll see what happens.
Well, right now I'm just working on like really good EPs, because I'm just trying to market a certain kind of, you know, area as far as like when it comes to like house music, because house music is so saturated, so it's easy for someone to say, hey, I do house music. And what I'm doing right now is actually flooding the market again like I used to do. Flooding the market with a lot of music, so that way it gets a lot of people, when they go to the stores, they don't have to be like, oh, when the next Boo Williams EP coming out. So now you got between 2 and 3 and 4 EPs to pick. And it keeps your mind interested, because you're like, wow, you think I'm doing this and now I'm doing this. But it's still the same style, it's just progressive, you know, with your sound. And that's what you gotta do with music, you gotta progress. It's not about trying to outdo nobody or whatever, just stick to what you do.
I and Boo, we're working on a Strictly Jazz Unit album. And what we're doing is we're taking it back to like when I did the Peach Frog, the Defender, the more tech, jazzy, because I think that's what house music or dance music needs, to diversify all the pretty music that's coming out, which I love the pretty music, I make pretty music, but we need some more, we need a transition, and it's gonna be more tech funky. So that's something that we've been working on now for the past 6 months.